Hello and welcome to not Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. Not because Glenn is currently moving his abode to a new abode. So this
Glenn,
is this is.
he's in jail, but we're not supposed to say that.
Oh no, he's not.
Oh
Glenn's
no,
not
he's not.
in
No, he's
jail.
not in jail. That's crazy. That's
No,
crazy.
no, no. But seriously, Glenn is actually moving. This is his moving weekend, and even if we could physically get him to sit down and do this, he probably wouldn't have internet. So it's a twofer, right? So instead, Glenn asked Mike to step in, which of course would have been my choice anyway, because we are a fine working team.
Glenn did ask me 2 weeks ago. I just came on because we thought Glenn was moving 2 weeks ago, and then it turned out it wasn't 2 weeks ago. So he was off, but no move, and this is the move. So on Thursday night's Discord chat, Glenn did ask me to fill in for him. I feel very good about that. I don't feel like I'm usurping old man Grognard, because heaven knows you don't want to make old man Grognard mad, and you don't want to usurp his position. He's a venerable institution in this business at this point. Everybody loves the man. So I am not pushing him out. We already do a show on Wednesday that we love and it's awesome. Not pushing him out, just filling in. So all you old man, I said, all your fans are mad at me. He goes, I don't have any fans. Like, fuck yes, you do. He's got lots of fans. Oh my God, he's got fans all over the place. I don't have fans. I have groupies. It's crazy. It's crazy being Bad Mike.
It's crazy being the Bad Mike.
I have to show my wedding ring all the time. Like, come on, baby. I can't do that.
Oh, actually, I don't wear my wedding ring now because I lost enough weight that it now falls off. So I need to get one of those, sizer thingies to keep it on. So.
Heard you put him in a venerable institution. Oh, God. Don't say that. Poor Glenn. No, he's just got to move. He's got to move. We're not putting him in the old folks' home yet. He's still sharp as a tack, man. The guy really is. He's great. Matter of fact, one day we got to go in here with me, you, and Glenn, because then Glenn and I can basically push you out. We can talk old movies, and you'll just be sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
I'm like, what? Casablanca? Is that anything like Willy Wonka? What? No. Yeah, no. I'll Richard Brooks. They're called strippers.
No, I call them groupies because my wife gets upset when I call them strippers. So
hot glue does not work for the ring because there are times you need to take it off. God damn it! And I don't need to have it seared on for life.
Yeah, man. I mean, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't get used to the ring because Rachel's pretty sharp, and I just have a feeling she ain't putting up with you more than another couple years. I give it 2 or 3 years until she realizes, holy crap, this guy, he just doesn't do anything all day. He just sits around the house. He talks on the internet.
Wait, time out. Her last day of social work was yesterday.
That's right. So, she is officially kind of sort of retired then.
Right. Or at least she's transitioning to the new occupation of yoga, more training in yoga and being a yoga instructor and all that entails. So, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do without structure and work with structure. And I'm like, that's why I have live streams 3 days a week. I have the chat on Thursdays, and I'm going to be in a weekly game on Mondays because you know what? That gives structure.
Yes, it's important. It is important.
And some people could say that it maybe even resembles like work, but then I don't get paid for it, so I don't think it does.
No, right? You got to have structure because how many times we've heard about people generation above us, the boomers. We're like on the edge of boomer. I don't consider myself a boomer, even though I was born in the 60s. I really don't have a lot in common with the boomer generation, so I'm going to consider myself, what is it, comes after that? Gen X?
I have no idea what we are.
I think we're Gen X. I think we're Gen X, you and I. But because, like I said, I'm 63, but I'm not a boomer. Boomer's supposed to be 65, and I just being at the tail end of that, I have nothing in common. But one thing I do see in the boomer generation is they retire, and if they don't have a plan, it doesn't go well for a lot of those guys and girls and ladies
Yeah.
because they are used to doing something every day and they think it's going to be so awesome. They don't have to do that every day. And then they don't do it and they find they really didn't plan very good about what they're going to do. And that's good. So you worked out great because the minute you retired, you're busy as ever. You're busiest when you were a cop. I mean, it's crazy how busy you've been.
It's bizarre. Now, my father, he retired at, I think, 57. The phone company gave an early buyout where they bridged your Social Security and they paid your pension. And he didn't know what he was going to do. And initially, he had two things in mind. He was going to be a school bus driver, or buy a dog. And I was like,
I'd buy a
off,
dog.
At first, I was like, Pop, you hate kids.
Yeah, and that's not a good mix. That's not a good mix.
And you hate driving. So, I mean, I swear to God, I go,
oh, that's great.
No, and it took him about 6 months of literally going stir crazy, and then he found metal detecting. And he's a beach hunter.
Huge. Oh, yes.
Well, he's a beach hunter, and he paints. So, not like walls. He paints paintings. So he's found ways to keep himself occupied.
Well, between you and I mean, I'm never going to retire because I have too much. There's too much I can do. I mean, there won't be any transition. I'll just do what I do. I mean, there's nothing to retire. The last real job I worked, I quit when my grandson was born. So that's 17 years ago. And so I haven't had a real job in 17 years. And I don't miss it one day. Not one day. I wish, I wish I'd quit earlier because it was just, the rat race sucks. And the one thing I love about the job is I got a company car for 15 years. I was about to
say that.
Boy, that was cool. That was great because ever since then, I'm driving the first real good car I've ever driven because my wife got a new Kia last year and I got her 3-year-old Kia. But up until then, let's just put it this way. The first car I drove when I quit my job, didn't have a car, is my brother Robert. And you know Robert from North Texas. So just picture what a truck that belonged to him would look like. Then
I don't want to picture it.
Picture that pickup with no air conditioning in Texas. That's what I drove for 2 years. Because he just gave it to me. He goes, yeah, you can have this thing. I'm like, oh man, I'm just happy to have a car. I'm like, oh, this is going to be tough. But you know what? I was still happy to quit my job. It's working for the man sucks, I mean, at least you were working. At least you had a profession where you're helping people every day, right? I mean, you're doing things that you can see make a difference. I was a customer service rep for a drug company, and that's not a drug testing company. So we're trying to get you to pee. We're trying to get your company to pee in our cups. So that's soul draining. That's soul draining. Oh, absolutely soul draining.
If you're gonna pee into.
And let me tell you how even worse it got. All doctors want to do is go with the cheapest person. It doesn't matter what your service offers, how accurate you are. They don't care. And so there's like 5 or 6 companies back then that did that. All we did was rotate through doctors because we'd have a special for 6 months and we'd do it cheaper. They'd all run over to us. And then Keenet Labs or whatever would have a special. They'd run to them and that back and forth. You couldn't keep people. It was all whoever had the cheaper drugs or cheaper testing. So that was my soul crushing beat down for 15 years was that. So I'm happy to be here with you doing this. I consider this a test for retirement because this is, God willing, we'll be doing this show in 10 years, talking about whatever the
yeah. We'll be talking about TSR 5 at that point, probably.
Only 5? Come on. We're already on 3.
All right. 13? Who the fuck knows, all right? We're in TSR.
Those magical 3 Speaking of those magical 3 letters, we have a little bit of news about that. Eric's got some. I guess we're not going to have much structure in the show tonight because we're going to run all over the place. We don't have a special guest. We're going to rip
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably pimp Talking Crit a couple of times. Or at least I'll pimp it. We got some good guests coming up, but we're going to just do our usual Talking Crit, talk about current events. We'll drift off into God knows what. So, what do you got for us here, Eric?
All right. Well, here's something that's interesting. So. And as I've mentioned elsewhere, about once a week or so, I go to this exact web page and I refresh it because this is the web page that has anything registered as a trademark to any company that was TSR or TSR related. And that includes TSR concrete coatings. It's all the shit that nobody gives a fuck about, right? So, this is how I found out that Blackmore, which is right where my pointer is, was dead, which means it was it was actually abandoned by the new TSR after it was basically going to be approved. And then the medallion logo was dead because it was basically approved, but then they sent a notice of basically abandonment. We don't want it. They've also sent that notice for the Wizard and the TSR, I don't know, logo that looks like the OSR logo. So those are in the process of being abandoned. But here's something that surprises me at the very top of this page. TSR filed for August 16th, 2021. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. It means that this is just for the letters, which also means that TSR2, forgive me for saying this, they really dropped the fucking ball because they never lost it. They lost it now, but they never lost it before.
They should have had Ty Beard as their lawyer. I think Ty would have found this. Ty is too on the spot to drop the ball on this. Ty would have definitely found this one. Unfortunately, whoever they had doing their legal work did not spot this because this is a pretty big spot. Because this would have meant, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, Eric, is that when Lanasa started yammering on about how we're TSR now, all Jason would have had to do is post and said, "Nah, I don't think so."
And no, and I don't know why their lawyer didn't renew. I don't know. Even when he forgot to renew, it's still what nobody had taken it. He could have fucking renewed it. This was literally, I guess, Lanasa bluffed his way through this shit. I guess I don't know. I think it's.
He was talking out of his ass for the whole month. He was posting nonstop on Twitter and Facebook, so I'm not surprised. I mean, he was absolutely talking out of his ass, saying, "Hey, we're going to do Star Frontiers like we did in the '80s." No, you didn't. You didn't do Star Frontiers.
You didn't do shit.
We're going to do a convention like we did Gen Con back in the old days. No, you didn't do Gen Con. That's no.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Gen Con banning us, and we created Gen Con. Yeah,
not really. Not really, guys.
John Miller, Jason Elliott said that TSR brand had been damaged by TSR3, so he didn't want to keep it anyway.
That's not a bad deal. I understand that.
I understand that completely. However, the moment that TSR3 started saying, "Ooh, we're TSR3 and you're not," or we're the real TSR, please stand up. And I'm again, I don't know the lawyer, and I don't want to insult, but somebody somewhere on that team should have said, well, yeah, I guess they're getting all these graphical trademarks, but they never fucking got to the actual letters TSR. I guess this is all moot. We'll just renew our trademark because if you look again, everything here was done last August. Star Frontiers was done in October. Blackmore was done in October, both on October 25th. So last August for all of these, and here we go. TSR filed for August 16th, 2021. So that is just what's what I'm looking for? Foolishness, stupidity. It's a train wreck this community never needed to go through. You're muted, Mike. Muted. You're still muted.
I'm muted because I was fixing myself a mixed drink and trying to get a whiskey sponsor once again. Anyway, yeah, but you never know. You have to rely on what legal says, and if legal said one thing, maybe they didn't know, and that's not Jason's fault, obviously. But somebody along the way didn't check this out carefully enough. This could have saved a lot of trouble because, like I said, the brand wouldn't have been damaged if Jason immediately and said, no, you don't own anything. I'm here it is right here. And then maybe Lanos then would have faded away and tried to get the another trademark or gone on about something else. But
we could have gotten Cyborg Commando. Wouldn't that have been a great one to have?
Matt, I take donations too. Bad Mike's Whiskey is trademark, but until I get Bad Mike's Whiskey, you know what? I should just put Bad Mike's Whiskey across the bottle and just hold that up.
Yeah, there you go.
That might help. It's good stuff.
Why not? Why not, Phil? Why
Tasty.
not?
Tasty. Oh, yeah.
So I guess you could say we started out with stupidity today, because that is certainly stupidity.
It's something. But, you know, but regardless of what happened, this thing kind of came to an end at this point, and we still really haven't heard anything from Lanos and them for about month. So I don't know what the final. I mean, we hear a lot more about Giant Lands and Deinhardt and Ward than we do from any of these guys for the TSR side.
Yeah, which isn't again, that's not upsetting to me at all. It means that the blowhards are not blowing just pointless anymore. Maybe they've gotten to the point where they, hey, we're going to announce something. Let's actually have something to announce, as opposed to just
right. Because if everyone remembers, this was all. As this was going on, everybody was just pointing to the fact they hadn't done anything yet. They hadn't published anything. Yes, they opened the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, but at the time they were still waiting on official affirmation from Lake Geneva, which they finally got. And
right.
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're working on that. That's good. They should be working on that. That's not a bad thing to be put, to be doing. Just concentrate on Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, make it look good. Jeff Leeson and them can go in there, and I understand Jeff is doing most of the displays and all the stuff, and most of the stuff is being displayed from his collection. That's great. That's what you should be working on. Get the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum up and ready. When Gary Con comes, you can get online and say, hey, while you're in Lake Geneva is not a big city. It's not a big town. So you can easily go from where the convention is, just zip on over and see the Dungeon Hobby Museum. That's what they need to be doing. That is a good use of their time. Not this trying to collect trademarks like trading card, like baseball cards, and trying to
come on, man.
Trying to say that you're the original TSR and you're the original this and that. No, just do what you're good at or what you came to do, and that's to get the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum up and running. And I think that maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're getting that going, and now because now didn't they get like some money from the Lake Geneva City Council? I mean, they
or something like that, some grant for the museum. So yes. They did.
They got like $10,000, like $10,000 grant.
Yeah, which is probably what they spent on the trademarks.
So
they had to abandon.
Just do that and do other stuff. Just do what you're good at. This is the same thing Eric and I always talk about. We talk about bad Kickstarters. What is one thing bad Kickstarters have in common? They try to go beyond the scope of the Kickstarter. They do like the Wandering Wizard say, hey, I got all this money. I'm going to start my own game company. No, that's not why we gave you money. We gave you money for this Kickstarter. And that has sunk so many Kickstarters when they just they get out of their sphere and say, I'm going to do this instead of that. And that's kind of what these guys did for a month or two.
Wild Die Woodard. Where will I get my rebagged dollar store dice with the white paper tab with the Wizard logo? The Wizard logo, by the way, they are abandoning along with the
collector's items.
Yeah, along with the TSR OSR looking like logo, the blocked letters. But the Lizard Man, they still have along with the TSR, the Game Wizards moon face with the TSR letters after it. So those still are looks like they're going to be trademarked. So this is, again, I find this interesting. I've had people ask me, why do you take such joy out of the mistakes of TSR? I don't take joy out of it.
No, we actually don't. We actually don't. I mean, we laugh at it because it's just dumb, and these are people. and we're not punching down, we're punching sideways, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we can make fun of really bad moves and just like it's like we're kind of going, oh, it's like Laurel and Hardy when they fall down the stairs or something. You're like, oh, that looks like it hurt, but it's kind of funny, right? That's how this is. We don't take joy out of it. It's just that it is what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, neither of us have any personal issues with Ernie. I might have some personal issues with Manasa only because he threatened me with legal action, and I am smiling and ready to laugh because he is one of a significant handful of people who have threatened me with legal action and has therefore earned my undying attention, not undying love. But when you threaten me with legal action, it generally means that you're trying to hide something, and you feel that I am digging too close, and it is dangerous for what you're trying to do. And maybe you're not doing anything wrong. Maybe you're just a little paranoid that I'm going to find something that isn't there. I don't know. But when you threaten me with legal action, and we've discussed some of the people who've done that in the past, including my good friend Ken Whitman, the that Kickstarter Dragon Riders of Trash, whatever the heck it was, and Gail, and a few others that I'm not going to name publicly at the moment. Again, if you threaten me with legal action, and obviously I've never had legal action actually filed against me. The idea is that the threat should be enough to intimidate somebody. You do my career. You've been sued a couple of times for a couple of $1 million. You kind of know what a real threat looks like, and you kind of know where the lines are. As Frank Messenger told me many years ago at GaryCon, he goes, my wife worries about you sometimes because you seem to go right up to that line. I go, what line? The legal line. I go, what legal line? He goes, the legal line when dealing with people like Ken Whitman and others. And I go, and he goes, I don't worry because I know you know exactly where that line is because I've never seen you cross it. Yeah, and you have to know where that line is. There are people that are no longer, dare I say it, muckraking or investigating or doing stuff that looks into issues in gaming that used to get their jollies out of digging up dirt that was unsourced and pretty much damn near unfounded, that are no longer doing it because it was unsourced and unfounded. Dot your I's, cross your T's. You're probably going to be pretty good. Just some ideas. Jeff, it's making fun of at others' expense. That would be Schadenfreude, right? No, Schadenfreude, they have to be friends. We're not saying that these are friends, but yes, it does come from some personal tragedy. There's no personal tragedy here, except for thousands of dollars spent on fees and lawyers' salaries for trademarks that are now being abandoned. But that's not my money. So, Vauban, you want names? You reach out to me later. I'll give you names. No, not that.
Oh well.
So what else? What? Oh, all right. So go ahead.
We can go the other side. We have some Giant Lands news too, but whatever you want to talk about, we'll do that.
Unless
you want to go Giant Lands.
Just do Giant Lands. Although I don't have Giant Lands ready to go.
I can go with a few things. I don't have the. We don't have the. I can read.
We don't have visual. We can read it. I like to read. That's okay. We like it when you do read.
If you go to the Giant Lands page, I don't feel bad about sending you there. They posted today. Today we sent a top tier themed entertainment artist to task to begin creating a vision for our live events in park. Here's a sample of his work. Where would you like to go in Giant Lands? And it has a picture of a very generic theme park that, I'll be honest with you, it looks like it's for small children, and I would not be interested in it. But they're very serious about this theme park stuff. And this could be good for Jim Ward. I hope Jim Ward makes some bucks out of it. He did announce this week that he is still working on Giant Lands. For those of you who watch our Wednesday Talk and Crit, you may have already heard this. I do see some different people here, so we're going to kind of go over this a little bit again. But Jim Ward posts this week that I've reworked several tables. I'm adding lots more clarification. I've spell checked it and used a lot of words the speller never heard of. Now all I have to do is proofread the last book and I'm done. Then I will have to put all new Giantlands monsters in Squirrel Tower. Squirrel Tower is the name of the adventure he's writing. Then I look forward to helping Stephen Deinhardt, write the Broken Road adventure. I'm already thinking about the powers and the cyborg supplement. So at least Jim got a gig off this, which I'm glad. I'm happy. But they're going ahead with this, and and they actually are producing something. So unlike Lanasa and them, they're doing something. So thumbs up to them. I don't know if Giantlands is going to be any good. I know that I'm a little worried about it because it's 2 years late. Jim is still working on the rules and editing it, which gets me a little antsy. Because it should have been done a long time ago.
Yep.
There's a question of whether. They also post this week too. They're not offering refunds. So if you want Giantlands and you buy it, make sure you want it.
Right, because you can't. There's no give backs. No deposit, no refund bullshit. You're all in. You're all in.
Yep.
Don't say I wanted it because it was a part of TSR. What? You're no longer part of TSR? Oh.
We've seen some really irate virtue signalers who bought Giantlands because they were going to stick it to WotC, man. We're going to stick it to WotC and those guys, and we're going to buy Giantlands and give TSR money. Well, once TSR and Giantlands parted ways, like, hey, I want my money back. You're not TSR anymore. Well, you bought a game. You didn't buy. I mean, yes, you were doing it to support a company, but you should have thought about that before you sent them your $60. You should have thought about what you were supporting. And Deinhardt and them said, no, we're not giving any refunds. So if you're in, and they also shut down their Square accounts, so you don't have a lot of recourse if you want to charge back on your credit card. I mean, I guess you could. You could always call your credit card company and see what they can do. But if you
try to take your money back.
If you have it linked to your PayPal account, you might be SOL because PayPal doesn't care. Now, your credit card company might want to help you out, but I don't think PayPal will worry about that. So they're still working on it. It's still got a ways to go. I don't, is it going to be any good? I don't know. Like I said, at least they're producing something, and apparently they are going forward with this theme park idea, which I don't know how this fits into RPGs. I don't really think it does. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a D&D theme park. That's actually not a horrible idea for the powers that be at WotC. If they
for the movie, for the movie.
I mean, there's a Harry Potter world. There's all these different. If you go to Hollywood, there's all these different places you can go where you can see things. D&D's been around for 50 years now, almost 50 years. You should be able to, have some kind of a cool D&D theme park. And unfortunately, maybe the movie will be good. Maybe the movie will be good and they can start working on something like that. I don't know.
Dandelion Games has a minor theme park, takes about $70 million just to start.
I wouldn't be surprised, Lou. Yeah, I don't think this is I don't even think this is going to be a minor. I'm trying to think what this would be like. This is going to be like Chuck E. Cheese ×2, maybe. I mean, it doesn't see the pictures I've seen of what he's done. It's basically it's like a county fair type setup. It's a little thing. There's a couple rides. There's some critters you've never heard of. Some pictures, kind of like Jellystone Park. I mean, it's very low budget. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
And I'm sure kids might enjoy jumping on little rides and stuff, but it's not Disney. It's not Six Flags over whatever. It's just
not Universal. It's just kind of
no.
Jimmy Bob's traveling.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no real there's no real IP behind it. There's nothing. I know that Steven is trying to create IP right now, which is, I mean, that's not a bad idea. The problem is, I don't think you can create good IP without either a book series, a movie series, probably both, or as Lou said, $70 million. I mean, you could probably do it then, but there's no. As Gertrude Stein said about Oakland, there's no there. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. There's no book series. There's going to be a game, a role-playing game that they haven't sold 2,000 copies of yet. That doesn't seem
But they need to sell those copies.
Yeah.
So if you really want a copy, buy two, because they'll be there's only 2,000 copies of this game in the first edition that you were beta testing. We mentioned
Right.
this on Wednesday. It's a beta test.
Yep.
Because you can be a play tester. Okay, if you give them feedback on the first edition of the game.
Yeah, see, Matt, you're right. So I think this is what I've seen. Some of the theme parks that, if you look online, you can find some of the ones that Dynharder's done a few of these. He's done one, I think, one in Colorado. He's worked on them, and they're like a little mini carnival. That's exactly what you're looking at. You're looking like a, like I said, like a Chuck E. Cheese, but a little more sophisticated. There's some little rides and little things you can jump on and places to play. It's not a big deal. So good luck with Giantlands. Maybe they could set something up in Wisconsin. When we go there for Gary Con or something, we can go jump on rides. Eric and I take pictures of ourselves riding on Giantlands.
If you weigh more than you are too large for this ride.
I'm pushing three. I'm 3 bills right now. I haven't been. I am trying to lose weight. It's just so difficult. But I'm 3 bills, so I don't think I'm going to be able to ride on any of the rides, Eric. I
am at 225. And,
good for you, man. Good. That's great.
But
I weigh 100 more. I weigh 100 more pounds than you. That's how bad this is.
Mike, remember last May I was at 292, 293. So I was up there.
You peed all your weight off. I can't pee that much. I'm trying to pee.
Yeah.
I can't pee all my weight out.
When they tell you that you like, oh, look at that, you lost 14 pounds since yesterday. It's like, well, no wonder I was up every 35 minutes on the side of my bed. They actually joked with me like, hey, do you want to take these urinals home with you? Because you seem to have gotten very good at using them. I was like, yeah, I want to hang it off the side of my bed at home. My wife will love it. Hon?
I have some breaking news here.
Oh, is this the breaking news that I saw? Is this about next Wednesday?
Yes, it is.
All right, you can fill it in.
It looks like that we have a special guest for Talk Grit next Wednesday. It's going to be the great, and I mean the great, Alyssa Fadden. Bum ba bum bum bum. Eric and I were just a few weeks ago talking about the fact that we wish we could have more women, and we are a total sausage fest. We know it. And so we started, okay, who can we get? Well, we love Alice Pang. We'd love to have Alice on again, but Alice just had some really serious back surgery, and she's actually doing really well. She had some spinal surgery, so she's out for a while. She wants to come on. We had Liz and Mike on earlier this year, but usually that's a package deal. I mean, we could probably tell Mike to blow off and just have Liz, but we just, we like to have quality guests. I mean, I guess I could ask Darlene. We probably should have Darlene on at some point. She's really sweet.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But then we also came to Alyssa. We're like, we had Alyssa on. She was great. We had Alyssa on, I think it was last year. I mean, it's been so long since we had her on. And she's just an absolute freaking hoot. And so I noticed this week that those bums from GDZ, Skeeter and the other dude, I can't remember his name. They're I don't know if you think he's done anything in the industry or anything. They're having Alyssa on to talk about the map she's doing for Necropolis. And I'm like, oh, poor Alyssa. I mean, it's like if you're a professional baseball player and they call you up and say, hey, could you play for our AA affiliate next week? And you're like, what? But you do it because you're a good soldier. And so you go down and you play for AA, but then you want to get called back up again. Well, GDZ is the AA. We're the professionals. So we decided that it'd be great to get the taste of GDZ out of her mouth and have her on our show Wednesday, and she could have 2 professionals talk about mapping and cartography and all the other good stuff. And
failing that, we'll just do our regular show with Alyssa. Let's just be honest.
So we're going to save her from being associated with GDZ very long. She'll only have 2 days being associated with them. It shouldn't hurt her career too much. I'm a little worried about her career. But I think she'll survive it when she comes on with us. We'll boost her back up again. She'll be okay.
Somebody said Jeff's like, hey, Liz Danforth. I don't know Liz.
Liz has had a lot of. We were going to have Liz at North Texas a few times. She's had a lot of. She's been sick a lot, the last 2 years. She's had a lot of physical problems. She's kind of hard. She's kind of hard to get at this point. Darlene would definitely come on. Darlene's a bud. Darlene's my friend. I could call her up. So we'll look at having Darlene on. I talked to somebody else, and I thought, well, I don't know if I have Darlene. She's so quiet. She's so reserved. And then I can't remember who I talked to. Was it Lou or somebody that said, oh my God, we had her on the show and she was crazy and wild and talkative and this and that. I'm like, well, that's what we want. We love that. Yeah, we'll have Darlene on the show if she's going to do that. So I think I'll try to give her a call or an email in the next few weeks. See if maybe we can get Darlene going.
Auction off an Alyssa map to bring in new viewers. But first off, we don't do auctions. All right? We might do raffles. We might do the raffles and give stuff away, but we don't do auctions. And I can't speak for Alyssa and say we're going to give away anything.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, you know.
We might give something away. I don't know. I've got some Alyssa stuff around here. I think I may have an old Whisper and Venom. They had these advertisements that went out with Alyssa's beautiful map on them. It said investigate Whisper and Venom. And these came out way back when Whisper and Venom came out. And I grabbed a whole stack of them. And Zach says, well, I don't have any of those anymore. Those are gone. So I may have one around here. If I do, I will auction that, or not auction off. We'll do a raffle.
All right.
We raffle. We don't auction.
Right. We don't. And listen, I know Alyssa does maps that are print on demand that are on canvas via a third party. They're beautiful. I actually own, I think, 2 or 3 of them. I'll inquire if maybe there could be a discount code available that just for the viewers, but I don't know. I don't know the logistics. And again, this is 5 days away. I don't know if we have the time frame to pull it off, but I'll make the inquiry. But no, we're not auctioning off Jack or shit because they both left already. No, I mean,
yes.
It's not feasible. Not feasible. Well,
yeah.
Love the idea though. But no.
No, we may give something. We have a special activity plan that I thought up. I thought it was kind of funny. Eric and Alyssa agree with me, so it's going to be a little different than our normal show. We're going to do some funny stuff, and obviously we're going to talk to Alyssa because so she does a show. If you get a chance, she's on Twitch. And she will draw her map, and you get to watch her draw her map and talk to her, watch her draw her map. It is fascinating to watch what she does.
Yes.
And I couldn't do it in a million years what she does because to me it's very tedious because she's putting line after line. I mean, she'll just spend all this time just putting lines and just putting squares, and it's amazing. But her Twitch channel, I'm not sure. Maybe you could just go by her name, Alyssa Fadden, and look for her Twitch channel. But it's well worth watching. It's great. I've been on her show once. It was fun. We talked while she drew, and she just likes to talk about music and hanging out and gaming. And I saw that she did have a post the other day, which got me thinking about one thing. Got me thinking about Alyssa. She had a post where she was contemplating Eric having a podcast where she talked about gaming, and I think that'd be great because she does have a lot of really good. She's very well rounded. She not only games, but she does a lot of Napoleonic miniature type stuff.
Yes.
She helps run Infilad, which is I don't think they've had it for the last 2 years. It's a miniature war game convention, and we're talking old school miniatures, not Warcraft or whatever. We're talking the little tiny 15 millimeter ones. You set up these giant armies, and you're marching with a ruler and stuff. She does all that stuff. So it'll be fun. We're gonna have a good time. So next Wednesday, Alyssa Fadden. Talk about her map. Plus, it helps because we had Mark on 2 weeks ago talking about Necropolis. Now Necropolis will be over by then, but you may still want to see what the maps look like that she's doing, which I'm sure are absolutely epic. I've seen some glances. Necropolis has 17 hours to go. It's at 84,000, Eric. That's pretty good. 84,900.
Do it. Our lawyer was late today.
We were. His ears are burning.
He's not on retainer, right? No,
not at all. No, his ears were burning because we were talking about trademark and how unfortunately it looks like Jason Elliott and TSR2
really dropped the ball.
And I mentioned that if you were the lawyer, you would have never done that. So
yeah, apparently, and I'm just going to bring this up real quick just because Ty popped in. So Ty, if you go to the trademarkelite.com website and you look up for trademarks followed by TSR, you see the first one is actually TSR. And when was it filed? It was filed on August 16th, 2021, which means that all this bluster, all this bullshit, all of these graphic trademarks that have been filed for, they never filed for the actual fucking letters until this week. So that there's somebody on TSR2 that dropped the ball on that one. So just figured I'd bring that up. Now, since we're talking about guests, I've been talking with Joseph Bingaman. We'll probably be bringing him on one Wednesday in the next couple of weeks to talk about his Kickstarter, which is an OSR setting box set. So if you can do a box set for $50, God bless you.
What's the name of it, Eric? The Kickstarter?
It's Jayhawk Games presents The World of Dormin, Durmin. You know what? If I had half a brain, I'd put this up.
I see it. There it is. Jayhawk Games and JHALK Hawk Games. It's 23 days to go. It's up to 800. Well, that's a tough start. They need to get going here. So we're going to try to help them out. Yep. They need $10,000. That's pretty good. That's a pretty hefty chunk.
It's a hefty chunk, but at least it's a realistic number. It's not like we can do a box set, but only raise $1,000. No, you can't.
When Frank wanted $100,000.
No, he wanted 250,000.
Oh, that's right. Because he got like 100, didn't he? He got 100.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Oh, let's don't talk about that again. That's not good. That wasn't good.
By the way, hold on. That might be a situation where somebody threatened me with legal action.
Oh yeah, because you wrote about Frank's Kickstarter. He didn't like that. I remember that. He was going to sue you about something. I don't know.
Well, what happened is he shared out a website for backers when it was not going to fund, and I shared out the website, and I was threatened with legal action because I had no right to share that out. It's like, Frank, it's a website. It's not locked down. There's no password. There's no login. It's a fucking web address. What are you talking about? You might be subject to legal action. I'm certainly not going to be subject to legal action, but you can. And by the way, almost invariably, with one or two exceptions, the threats of legal action have all been phrased somewhere like, "You may find yourself subject to legal action. You may be in violation of U.S. code," because they know I'm not, but they want to say I might be. So therefore, I never really said you were. I just said you might be. So, in any case, but yeah.
So Joe. So he's gonna Joseph Brennan. We have him on. And we have a couple other people on.
Yes, we have another Joe who has committed, but we haven't gotten a date yet. That's my fault. Joe Block we will have on one day. So, but that'll be like the Greyhawk special because Joe is the Greyhawk special.
I lost you. I lost the sound. I don't know if everybody else did, but you said Joe.
Joe Block. We'll have Joe Block.
Yeah, Joe Block.
I haven't locked that one down yet. I have to.
The Greyhawk Grognard himself, the guy that did his great mega dungeon underneath Castle Greyhawk. Since we never got Castle Greyhawk, he gave us a really, really great version of his version of Castle Greyhawk, which I think it's a fun, weird mega dungeon.
It's a fun house.
It is, and it's great, and it's probably a lot what Gary's one look like because it's all over the place. It's great stuff. So yeah, we'd love to have Joe on. So Joe, we're hopefully get Joe on.
Dirk Stanley from Faraway Land. He's going to
Mr. Faraway Land. Yeah, that's great.
So we will have him coming up. Layout artist extraordinaire Jeff Jones also does his own writing and publishes his own Kickstarters. He has a Kickstarter coming up. We're going to have Jeff on. So we got a lot of people. We don't have dates finalized yet, but these are people we definitely will have on in the coming weeks. So
look at Satanis. We'd love to have Mr. Venger at some point, hopefully.
Yeah. Ty, I'm still trying to grasp the concept of trying to intimidate an ex-NYPD cop. And you know, a lot of the stuff was when I was a current NYPD cop. And it's just like, I don't think that works so well. So, but yeah, you know. Most people want their websites to get shared. Apparently, Frank did not understand how websites worked. Because, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long story. We won't go into it tonight because we've talked about that at length. As an example of a Kickstarter that was going to go wrong, it was derailed from day one, and to this day, Frank blames everybody but himself for what happened. And it was sad because if there
was a lot of potential. There was
a lot of potential, and if he had been realistic about it and actually listened to other people, because he didn't listen to anybody, he got advice from a lot of people, listened to no one. He did raise almost $100,000. This project could have gone forward. Now, would it have been finished or not? I don't know, because he admitted he hadn't written none of it yet, or he'd written it, but it wasn't really in publishable form. So that's always a danger sign. As Eric and I always talk about bad Kickstarters, that's one you got to be real careful of when they say, "Oh, I haven't really written this yet." Oh, back up,
right?
You know, and so. But yeah, that was really, it sucks because that his world was really a part of D&D history. We're probably not going to see it at this point ever, so it's too bad.
Well, this is an OSR setting that you'll probably see if we can get it to fund. So, like I said, I believe it's $50 for the box set. I can't see them making a lot of money off this Kickstarter in the end. I see it as a labor of love, but hey, our own Zach Glazer did his box sets as labors of love.
It's tough to get. It's tough to get $10,000. $10,000 is not a small amount when you're just starting out. That's tough. I have doubts if they'll fund. I'll be honest with you, but we're going to do what we can to try to put the word out there. That's a lot of money for an unknown.
Right. It appears to be for Osric and includes 20 new races, 10 new classes, including an appropriate bard class. And that's already got me going for it because I love bards. And fuck you all who don't like bards. Just had to say that because I know so many people hate bards. I don't know why.
It's a new thing. It's because the way bards are portrayed in 5th edition and the way it's just kind of been this catch-all that bards are basically sluts. They're basically male sluts or female sluts, and that's kind of this new interpretation of the bard. And so there's all kinds of memes that go out about bards and all kinds of
another reason for me to avoid bards altogether. No, avoid 5e. I'll still like my bards, but I'll avoid 5e. Optional rules on radiation and mutation, insanity, fear, phobias, addiction. It's a good thing Rach is retiring from social work. I should have another game that she can like. They're going to be like the Blight. Mike, do you remember when Rach was trying to sell the Blight at what was it, Game Hole or GaryCon?
Pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Oh my god! All Rach could focus on was the hope. Don't me get offended, but using the blood of the babies as basically a youth serum such narcotic, and Rach was like. It's kind of like heroin. I was just like,
And what's funny is the Blight setting has become kind of a cult favorite now because it's really unlike anything Frog God's done then or since. It's very dark. We actually had to tone down some of the darkness because it was when it came out of the hopper, it was very dark, and we we can't publish that, and so we changed up some of the things. But it's got a cult following now. It had a podcast for a while. I don't know if they're still running it, where people were running it and doing a podcast. There was, we get a lot of requests for it. I think we're pretty much sold out of it. I don't know if we have any copies left, but yeah, it's a fun setting, and it was worked on really by almost everybody that worked at Frog Eye at the time. Because Greg Vaughn at the time had not, it was really late. He couldn't finish it. So everybody on board, Matt Finch, Zach, everybody went in there and did work on it, Skeeter. And so it's a fun little setting, the Blight. And I think it's one of those things that's probably going to get more popular as years go on. So. If you find it, it's a giant book. It's like $120 book, but you probably will find it for much less than that when you do find it. So pick it up and get a chance. It's like this thick, so it will take you a long time to read through it. There's some great ideas in it. There really are some great ideas. I never thought I'd be the point where I'd be telling people to go buy the Blight, but honestly, at this point, it's there was a lot of bad feelings in the company about it for a while because it was late and it was just a hassle. But looking back on it with a tinge of nostalgia, yeah, go ahead and pick up the Blight. You get a chance.
It's well written. It looks great.
It is very well written.
It'll stop the lower caliber bullets that might be coming your way from angry people. You can strap it across your chest and have a trauma shield. So not that I'm suggesting that, but I'm just saying you could. Ty likes the video for.
Yeah, you know why, don't you? Because his daughters. It's nepotism. His beautiful and super intelligent, awesome, hilariously fun daughters did the video for the Kickstarter. So if you have a chance, go watch it, and then go watch it and wonder how gorgeous his wife is for those two daughters to come out of her body when he was involved. Because if you've seen Ty, yikes. But if you've seen his daughters, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Listen,
who's the father? Who's the father again? Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
If you've seen Ty, the one thing you'll say is he fits in well with Mike and I. All right, I mean that's all I'm gonna say.
That's fair. That's fair.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But
his daughters are gamers. They're just really smart. One of his daughters has written a couple of novels, and I love talking to them. They're just so intelligent, so awesome. But yes, they did our video, so good luck, and hopefully they're going to do some more stuff for Frog God because they're really enthusiastic. Like I said, they're actual gamer girls. They're not fake gamer girls. They're real gamer girls. So that's awesome.
That's the way it should be. So now we have another Kickstarter to talk about.
Okay,
and this is somebody else that we could have on the show. If we wanted to, I think we already had Scott on once. We've had so many guests, man, and people that I know that I can't remember.
No, I don't think we had Scott. We didn't have Scott on our show. We haven't had Scott.
All right, well then I'm sure we can have Scott on. Scott is an amazing font of knowledge because he was also involved in TSR2 and the Gygax magazine and all that stuff. He's been involved in a lot of projects. He's one of those personalities that you don't realize what he was involved in until you start looking and talking to him. So now he's been doing a folio for years. And a folio is a 1E, 5E, fairly regular adventure series.
It's really cool. The folio is great too, by the way. Yeah, it's worth picking up.
Really, really well written.
Well worth picking up.
Has those covers that come off like the regular, I think AD&D covers. So the complete folio black label takes the folio black label is a little bit on the NC-17 side of maybe not NC-17, the rated R. Okay, yeah. It might show boobies. It's a little bit more risque. Again, same high quality production values. So this is taking the complete black label collection and putting it into an orange spine hardcover. So if you're somebody who all your 1E books had orange spines, for me, my first orange spine was Unearthed Arcana. This is a book, beautiful cover, Clyde Caldwell cover. So he only gets.
He got Clyde. I don't even know how we can't get Clyde. So that's amazing. He got Clyde.
Amazing stuff. Clyde Caldwell for the cover, and the inside artwork, the outer artwork is all just fucking amazing. He does a great job. It's funded. He was looking to raise $10,000. He's got 12 and a half, but he's got 29 days to go. And
he's already hit his goal, so that's awesome. He's at 12,000 of 10, so it's going to fund. So definitely already funded.
Yes. He's always on time or damn close to it. He's not one of those Kickstarter creators. This is written. All right? He's not one of those people who's like, I will write. If you fund it, I will write it. No. It's I will write it, and then let's see how it gets funded. So,
right.
God bless. That is someone who does not put a black eye on our industry. He knows to treat his backers with respect, and I appreciate that. And now we'll move on to something that I find, again, I guess pandemic wise, this was bounced back. It's normally in what, June, May, June. Free RPG Day.
John, by the way, no, Frog Guy, we could probably get Clyde. We don't want Clyde. We can't. North Texas, we've tried to get him. And we've tried to get an art project published to pull back the curtain. The Achaeum collector site I belong to, we've had original drawings done by Larry Elmore, Errol Otis, Jeff Easley. Up on my wall here. Let's see if I can. There's my Elmore right there. That's the Elmore. And we thought, Clyde Caldwell would be awesome to get. Well, we can't get Clyde. We've been trying for years. He's too busy. So too busy for us, but not too busy for Scott.
Right. Well, because Scott knows all these people.
He does. It's who you know. It really is.
Somebody's bringing up the Ennies song. I got the Ennies page ready to go. But
we'll talk about that too. So go ahead. Free RPG Day. So for those who know, this has been going on about 10 years? Oh, more than 10 years now.
Probably more.
And I think it got sidelined last year because of COVID, but they're back this year.
So, but it's late this year. It's October 16th.
Yeah, October. It's usually in May. Yeah.
So, Goodman Games, Paizo, Q Workshop. I think Q Workshop is the dice people.
Yep.
WizKids, 9th level. I don't know them. Oh my God, man, that's a horrible logo. Mantic, can't fucking read that shit. Renegade Game Studios doesn't even know what they're putting up yet. That's why it says to be announced. Dave Taylor Miniatures, Hit Point, Magpie, Gatekeeper Games, Cubicle 7. You know what? Cubicle 7 might have something interesting. Green Ronin doesn't know what they're putting out yet. Modifus, Ed Studio, Infinite Black, Need Games, Pegasus Spiel, Privateer Press, Sirius or Dice, whatever. And is it Simon? Who's missing from this? I don't see any Troll Lords, right? I don't see any. I guess Flying Buffalo had the whole issue. These are companies that used to always have something out, and I don't see them participating in it. I see companies I've never heard of before participating.
Yeah,
which isn't a bad thing. I guess those are companies that you need to get
to
get views on, but no Lamentations, right? Used to be Lamentations had something out every year I guess Jane's having a problem putting out stuff that people are going to pay for, let alone put out something that's free, I guess.
By the way, he just had a post this week. Go ahead and go that way. I'll talk about that.
No, go ahead. No, let's hear it.
Well, I'm just saying Lamentations. He had a post on Lamentations page. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It was pretty.
Is it on Facebook?
Vamp. Yeah, I think so. Vamp for me there.
Lamentations.
Here it is. This came out yesterday. Here's what James said. All files for all 10 projects, plus the box stuff for the 1 deluxe edition, are now at the printer. Time to write a big blog post and start seriously organize the publicity campaign for the upcoming release. Then get back to work on the next things. It never ends. But I'm sort of having an out-of-body experience right now, premature since all these files always need technical adjustments before the printer accepts them. So I'm just going to have a good old cry. It's been a rough one. I feel like the camera guy at the beginning of Dawn of the Dead. My responsibility here is finished, except it's not really because it never really ends. So actual new flamp. So anyway, he apparently has 10 projects ready to roll. And so he's going to, and this is the stuff he talked about last year where we had that weird video from him wandering around the park and saying he was going to do crazy stuff.
Guarantee you one of those projects is not the referee book he, and again, I like James. But
I hope so.
I was pissed off when he it's like, I'm making a date like 4 or 5 years in the future because I know we'll never go past that date, but I don't want to hear people like me, Tenkar, bitching about me being late. And what happened? He's like fucking years beyond his years. So, one of
And,
those books coming out is a Courtney book.
yep. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. So anyway, well, this is interesting to see. Honestly, sometimes we beat on James, but we wish him a lot of success because he's doing some interesting things. He's doing something nobody else does. He has a niche, right? His niche is weird fantasy, but over the top fantasy, our OSR stuff. So good for him. I hope some of this stuff comes out and helps him make money. I know he's having horrible financial issues even after last year when he sort of kind of saved the company, but he's still got some issues he's got to deal with.
So now, according to Mark, Stephen Chanel has said on Twitter that past participation really had no impact on their bottom line when it comes to Free RPG Day. Now, I am going to, expand upon that, because when we look at the Ennies, here's the reality about the Ennies, and they're barely readable on the screen here. I hate the way this fucking page is set up by them. It's like, we don't want you to really read it. But here's the thing with the Ennies. Let's be honest. Major publishers no longer submit to the Ennies, right? Wizards of the Coast hasn't, I think, ever. Paizo has stopped. Because Paizo was like, we don't want to win all the prizes. This year, Chaosium is not submitting. So, yes, you can find some interesting, obscure releases, and that's what it's coming down to. You're getting obscure releases that are in these spotlights and in these things. Now, why is that? Because if you are a judge, you get free products sent to you. And if you are a judge outside of the United States, you are literally, maybe they're sending you a $20 module. It's probably costing them $50 to fucking ship it to you. Is it worth it? It may be worth it if you are a small company and you get a gold Ennie, and maybe you'll make the sales offer. For most people, it's not worth it. For Pro Lord Games, for Paizo, for Chaosium, these companies, it's not worth it. And I hate to say it, but remember, the Ennies isn't really about what's best.
It's a popularity contest.
It's a popularity contest.
Which is how Zach Smith wiped him out one year and won everything, and he bragged about the fact he gamed the Ennies because you can game them, and he did, and he bragged about it, and good for him. He showed the Ennies for what they are. The Ennies are a popularity contest. That's why Paizo won so many back in the old days. Frog God won a bunch of Ennies back in the day. That's why smaller projects rarely win the big awards. Just because it's a popularity contest. That Chaosium has swept the awards like the last few years, and I wouldn't say they're embarrassed, but they're like, okay, what do we need to prove anymore? If we put a product up there, all the Chaosium zombies are going to vote for it, and it's going to win. We can put up any Chaosium project; they're all going to vote for it. We're going to win. What does that prove? And so I'm glad that the bigger companies have started pulling their stuff for nomination because they don't really need to be on there.
Right, they don't need the exposure. They don't.
No.
It's small companies that need it. And honestly, if Paizo gets a gold Ennie, is their product going to sell anymore? No.
No, it's not. It only matters. And what you said about the judges is true. The judges end up with thousands of dollars in gaming supplies because you have to ship it. You have to ship it to these guys. I know the year that Zach did Whisper and Venom, he entered his product and he had to ship to like 2 people overseas, and you have to ship a lot of copies too, by the way. And so this is not a cheap to get yourself on the Ennie scoreboard is not cheap. It will cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just to get your name in there.
And here's the dirty little secret, which I'm going to take credit, at least partially, for exposing. For years, it was the same fucking judges coming back year after year. And when it wasn't, it was a judge passing off to their significant other. Here, take my spot.
Yeah. Because it's a money thing. You're getting thousands of dollars of material. So they didn't want to give up their gig. Why would you give that giveaway where you get thousands of dollars of gaming stuff that you can resell, sent to you? Because they're reselling. They're not, dudes. They are not reading all this stuff. There's no effing way. They're not reading this stuff. They're
right.
not.
So I went and I did my research, and I was pulling up the fact that you have the same judges 4 or 5 years in a row, and that these people, I mean, because yes, you elect judges, right? But I hate to say it, it's like a lot like real world politics, right?
Yeah.
Name recognition is about 75% of why somebody gets elected to a political office, not their stance, not their qualifications. And if they've already been in office for good or ill, they're the incumbent, right? It's free advertising. Well, it was the same thing here. So finally, a couple of years ago, the NEs were like, oh, all right, we're going to have a 2-term limit, which is fine. Now you're getting new people. But now here's the other thing about the NEs. To be an NEs judge, you can't be theoretically associated with the industry in any way. You can't be a publisher. You can't be a writer. Well, you know what? And that's great. I don't know any of these names, but I will almost guarantee you that they all have large social media followings, because the only way you get elected to this is your social media following. So, I mean, it is worth as much as you believe it is worth. I do not believe in any is worth all that much. I will say, and I was surprised by this, because I always check out the podcast, because usually it's Ken and Robin talk about shit, is there every year and always wins, or if it isn't on the list because it won a gold the prior year.
Yeah.
I know of none of these podcasts. Well, and I know of one, and I can already tell you which one's going to get the gold. Are you ready for this, Mike? You ready?
Yeah.
Gold any. Asians represent. Guaranteed. Party of One, Tales of the Voidfarer, The Sixth Ring, a trophy podcast, and The Letters Page, the Sentinel Comics podcast. The Asians represent because of the stirring that happened last year in 2020. I think that they're the only ones that are going to have significant name recognition. They are going to get the gold. I've said it here first. By the way, I've barely looked at the list of what's here. I know that there are some Old School Essentials entries that made it here, but I'll be damned if I can find it.
Look, I mean,
page.
Vince somehow won an entry, which is awesome. And that's one of the few triumphs for the little guy. Yes, little guys can win. I mean, but they're not going to win the major categories. Vince won, I think, in self-published rules or free rules. I can't remember the category he won in. Those, you could still have some winners. Yeah, you can still have some winners in those. So yeah, go ahead and vote for the guys in the smaller categories. The more, the bigger stuff, it's all going to go to a big name, unless you're Zach Smith and you can rig it, which he rigged it. But if not, go ahead and vote for some of this. Vote for the podcast, vote for the little things. But I have so little interest in the Annies. It's so artificial and it's so bullshit. And it's popularity. The year that Whisper and Venom lost, I think it was beat out by Paizo. But how is Zach going to win against Paizo? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a joke. Right. It's not some independent panel. It's how many people of your fans go in and basically sweep the category. And then you do that enough times, and then it looks embarrassing, and you finally pull your support and say, okay, we're not going to do it anymore. But it's silly. Yeah, like Planet X. If Planet X is up for publisher, throw some votes in on that one, obviously, because Levi's awesome. But yeah, the bigger stuff, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all politics, and it's all going to be popularity, and it's not going to matter. Not going to matter how well written something is or how good it is. Yeah, I just have very little respect for the Ennies. It's very any kind of awards like that. Although I don't know. Dragon Con does awards every year, and those go to a lot of good things, because the people who vote are the people that actually go to the convention. They vote, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, yes, it's a popularity contest, but that's a popularity award. It's not necessarily the best book that came out this year. It's the most popular science fiction or fantasy book. That's different. So if you call the Ennies the most popular fantasy or science fiction game, okay, I'm with you. But saying it's the best doesn't mean a damn thing. And look at some of the winners in the past. You're like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Boing. You know, some of the best stuff that's come out in the last 20 years is not the best. Some of the indie winners of the past 20 years is not the best stuff by far. It's just whatever got popular that year.
And personally, in my opinion, I would rather, again, best adventure, best aid accessory, digital, non-digital, best cover. No, I'd rather see, hey, give me your best OSR category, your best 5e category, your best Pathfinder category, your best Call of Cthulhu. Give me, because that way,
cool. Yeah, that'd be very cool.
But because here's the thing, people don't just play random RPGs, right? We play what we like, and I can vote. I mean, people are going to be voting on this, going, well, I play Old School Essentials. I know nothing else in that category, so I'm voting for Old School Essentials, which is fine. But I mean, shouldn't Old School Essentials be up against similar products that where people would have an interest in it? It really, in my opinion, puts undue weight on larger publishers. Larger publishers should be battling it out kind of amongst themselves. I don't know. It's just I just think the Ennies are too many categories and too many Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters. Okay. I don't know. Is that 5e? I don't even know what system it's for. I guess I could click on it and find out, but then I'm afraid what's going to lead me to. What hole I'm going to go under. So,
okay. This is what I want to talk about tonight. Whenever you get through talking about everything you want to, I just remembered something I would like just to throw out there so you and I could discuss. So,
yeah.
And we're not going to, without getting political or whatever. This is just us. This is just us talking, man. If you're just today, you're looking at today, and let's say you don't really know anything. What would you say your chances? What would you give the chances of conventions happening this year? And we're talking specifically of Gen Con, Gamehole Con, and Gary Con.
All right.
Because COVID is it's starting to peak again. We got a variant out there. It turns out that the vaccines we got don't work again. It's like the flu vaccine. Sometimes you get it doesn't work. So it's a different thing of flu. You didn't get that strain. Well, that's what's turning out to happen with this COVID. Right. It's not protecting against Delta really. And so I'm interested because I'm a little worried about conventions in the next couple months.
Well, here's the thing. Gen Con is in a month. Yes. I think it is likely that Gen Con is going to happen, and we've already known that it's going to be with masks, right? I think that's going to definitely be it.
They do have a mask mandate at this point, Jen. Now, it's a soft mask mandate because if you remember reading
it's a stupid,
yes, unless you're eating or drinking. So that means if I carry this around the whole time, I don't have to wear a mask because I'm always drinking. I'm drinking all the time. So it's a very... So they closed the auction down, which sucks. That would make me not want to go right then. And also the dealer room is only open certain hours. They're only going to let a certain amount of people in. Probably not a bad idea anyway, because that place just gets absolutely packed. So they're doing things to react to it. We've talked about this before. I don't think Peter Atkinson can take the hit again. No. This is a big business. It's got to happen. It's going to happen. And it's got to happen. It's got to happen for the city of Indianapolis. They need the money. Peter needs the money. A lot of this is going ahead. I think that one's happening no matter hell or high water. We're going to have the Gen Con. Because they're just going to make it work. It doesn't matter. They're going to make it work.
It's too close. You listen, and I personally think that for Indianapolis, they've gone beyond the cutoff date of when they can say pull the plug. Could I be wrong? Yeah. I mean, COVID numbers could triple in the next week, and then all of a sudden, every plug gets pulled. But I think that they've gotten to the point where they're like, ugh. But Game Hall, my mother is, well, not daily, but every couple of days, I'm really not comfortable with you and Rachel going, to that convention in October.
Right.
It really gets me nervous. I think maybe you should rethink. And that's over 2 months out. And between now and then, things can certainly swing on a dime. They've already extended the mask mandate on mass transit, including airliners, was supposed to end in September. Now it's going on to what, January?
Man, yeah. Man, by the way, Ty's on fire tonight. He's absolutely he is on fire tonight. He really is. Oh my God. But anyway, yeah. I lie awake at night with where Peter connects me. Yeah, he's for those who don't know, Peter is extremely wealthy. I know, but he's still running a business here, and he could go burn millions of dollars and still have millions of dollars. So. But yeah, so Gen Cons, they're going to make it happen. They're going to do whatever it takes possible to make it happen. Now, Game Hole Con's different. It's a smaller con. It's run by Alex and his buddies, and it's not. I mean, yes, it's about whatever, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 people maybe. I mean, it's more manageable. He said before that he is going by whatever the state of Wisconsin and the city of Madison dictate. So, that's actually a good philosophy, because that's what Doug and I used the last 2 years. We went by whatever Dallas County, because we were in Dallas County, and the state of Texas mandated. That way, we were not the bad guys.
Right.
This is what they're mandating. This is what they're telling us is safe. We're going to do what they tell us to do. So when people come and they say, well, how come we do this, that? Because that's what the county told us to do. That's what the state told us to do. Alex is doing the same thing with Game Hole. He's going to have, I think he said he's going to have masks. He is asking people to not come, I think, if they're not vaccinated, unless you're 12 or under, but he's not actually checking.
Right. The last I remember from Game Hall, and I haven't checked the site in a couple of weeks, was that masks were not going to be required unless the local rules changed, but vaccinations were required.
Right.
But basically, you were just affirming that you were vaccinated.
You're self-reporting, which actually is a great idea, because I know I thought it was hilarious. The Las Vegas Raiders football team has said they're going to check everybody's vaccination before going in there. That will be the biggest clusterfuck in the history of whatever. Can you imagine 100,000 people try to get the stadium, and Joe Blow, who's didn't graduate college, is checking your vax passport.
Yeah,
trying to decide
minimum wage.
Yeah, it's trying to decide whether or not you're going to be there. Now, what they said was, and my wife pointed this out because we were listening to the story, I'm just laughing my ass off. She said, well, they said that you could take a picture of your card and show them a picture on your phone. Eric, can you not? So here, 100,000 people in line. So here's what's going to be. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead. I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's not going to. They are not going to say, "Whoa, hold on. This doesn't look right. You're going to have to step over here because I can't really see this." No.
Well, here's the other thing. All right, New York City, as of the 17th, is now asking for proof of vaccination to sit down in a restaurant, bar, gym, movie theater. Okay. So we went to our local bar today, and now they know who we are. So, they've known us for years. So, yes, I'm using my phone to show my New York State Excelsior pass to show that I've been vaccinated. And they know who I am. They know my name. So it matches me. They know Rachel's name. But they're supposed to ask, oh, you got your pass? All right. We need to see ID with your pass. Now, not for nothing, right? I can vote in a local or presidential election by walking up to my, to my local voting poll and just say, yeah, Eric Tenkar. Where do I sign? Sign. Here's my paper. Thank you. I show no one. I don't even show a voter card showing where I live. I show nothing, and I go and I vote. Yet to have a beer, or even just sit down and have a glass of water with a hamburger, I now have to show my medical history here that I've been vaccinated and identification to go along with it.
Wow.
I don't understand. And here's and
you're talking about just the little tavern you go to. Can you imagine going to a big restaurant and
oh my God,
the cock-ups are going to be there, or the line out the door, people trying to get in and show that shit?
You are the minimum wage individual, right? You're the one that is the official seater, right? You're the greeter and seater. And then somebody comes up and it's like, yeah, I'd like a table for 3, please. Okay, well, I need to see vaccination cards and ID from all of you. What? Listen, we're not having a beer. I just wanted to sit down and have. Well, we need vaccination. That's my medical history. I don't need to show you shit. Well, no. According to New York, it's not going to go well. They're going to get into so many confrontations. And
because New Yorkers are all calm, cool, and collected. I mean, why would they get any kind of a confrontation with anybody? They're, some guy from the Bronx goes, he's going to be very reasonable about this as he rolls in there. And
here now again, I in the late '90s and early aughts, I worked in the South Bronx. I worked as a police officer as my rank in the 4-2 precinct, the 4-1 precinct, the 4-0, the 4-3. If it's the South Bronx, I spent time there. And what is, if you look at New York City vaccination rates, the lowest vaccination rates are African Americans. Why? For good reasons. They don't trust the government.
Hell no. Tuskegee experiment. By the way, there's a great documentary on Tuskegee experiment. It will make you sick to your stomach, but that will tell you right there why POC do not trust the government. It's unbelievable. I mean, boy, I could talk about that all night. But yeah, we'll watch the documentary. It's freaking unbelievable what was done to those people.
So now, if you think about it, right now, who are you disenfranchising and saying you can't use gyms, you can't go to the movie theaters, you can't go to a restaurant, and you can't go to a bar? You're telling that to people who are people of color, because they've been reluctant to get it, again, for well-documented reasons. But then at the same time, these are the people that the grounds for not having IDs is, well, they're poor and they probably can't get IDs. But you're telling them that these poor people, even if they were vaccinated, have to have an ID. I don't the mental juggling that this takes really frustrates me, because I know how frustrated it could be working those streets in the late 90s and knowing that 98% of the population were good, honest, hardworking people. And those are the people that you were serving. And now I know that 95, 98% is getting fucked over. It really irks me. It really irks me. So,
well, by the way, folks, I did not know we would set Eric off tonight, but this is awesome. This is great. I'm glad we did, because this is great stuff. Yeah, and this is, and I've said, and I've actually, I don't want to pretend like I'm some bigwig in the industry, but Alex and I talk quite a bit, and we've talked about, what a cluster F it would be if he checked IDs. Because let me tell you the first 5 guys in line. Guy number 1, I left it in my car. I'll go back and get it. Okay, so he goes. All guy number 2 comes up. I have it, but and my oldest son has it, but my daughter forgot hers, and my wife only has a photocopy. Person number 3 comes up. I have one, but I left it at home in Missouri. So here I am. What are you going to do? Person number 4. Oh dear God. Yeah. Most of them will probably be like, here it is, show it to you, whatever. Yeah. But
I left it in New York. I have. Right. You land and you realize, oh my God, I left it in my other wallet.
Can you imagine a family of 5, and everybody has it except the oldest daughter, and they're going to tell them, nope, get lost, or she has to wait outside.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And so, yeah, it's going to be a mess for people that try to legitimately check it. Now, I have a feeling we're going to see a very much a TSA situation, where it's basically it's like the bureaucratic bullshit that never ends with the TSA at the airport. It's a bunch of minimum wage goofballs trying to tell me that I can't get on a plane because I've got a pencil or something. And that's
Taser.
look what a disaster that. Eric got on a plane with a taser. They let him on the plane with a taser, and they've let people on with
like
guns.
An electric shaver. Come on.
Oh, they've had.
I didn't even know I had it. You know, that would have been the fun part.
Every
what
year,
the hell?
they do tests, and they send people with real guns on the plane, and they are detected less than 80% of the time. That means 20% of the time they're getting on the plane with a loaded gun. So I'm just saying, the TSA is a work program. It's to put people to work. That's all it is. It's garbage. You're doing the same thing with this. You're saying you're going to do something, but then you're making all these Swiss cheese holes in it. Like I said, like showing a picture on your phone. Like that can't go wrong. I can't read a phone. I can't even see my own phone. It's too tiny. What am I supposed to? And the guy that I show it to, what's he going to do? He's going to look at it and say, "It looks okay. I don't know." And then you're going to go through, and that's what it's going to be.
I have issues with this because it's an unfunded mandate, and you're putting, again, with the conventions. Yeah, when you're suddenly requiring a vaccination card and you got to require proof with it, the whole process. Could you do that at a convention where you have 400 guests without really screwing up things?
You could. I mean, we could probably do it at North Texas if we wanted to. We have 500 or less guests. We could do that. We don't want to do it because we're not going to do it, but we could do it. And yes, we could give each person the individual attention they need to actually check and make sure it's legit, this and that. But when you're talking 5,000 people, how about 50,000? You tell me how on earth you make that legit, where you're preventing any person who actually doesn't have a vaccine from getting in. There's no way.
Remember, GaryCon was going to require proof of vaccination, and then they went, "Oh, no. Everybody has to be masked, but we're not going to worry about vaccination status."
Right. So let's jump to we talked about so Gamehole Con. I know Alex is going to do whatever he can to get that show on. I'm really hoping it goes on. It's a great con. Alex is a great person. They've already paid. I think we can have Gamehole Con. Let's move to GaryCon. Is there any way if they miss 3 years in a row?
Oh, it's dead.
You think so?
It's dead. If they miss 3 years in a row, you know what you're going to have? You're going to have TSRCon. That's going to, because they'll have the opportunity and the money. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I'm just saying that's what's going to step up to fill that void if GaryCon has to cancel 3 years in a row. Because they are small enough that they don't have anything invested in it, and all they can do is grow. And there's going to be people going, "Hey, it's got to be like GaryCon," and maybe it will be, and maybe it won't be. And listen, as it stands right now, if you are at GaryCon on a Thursday morning looking to get your badge, if you're one of those people who has like back issues or bad feet, bring yourself a folding chair.
Sure.
Okay? Because you're going to need it. You need it now. All right? You would need it in a normal year because that line moves extremely slow. But if you had to check vaccination status on top of that, and I'm not slighting any of the staff there.
Right.
It's that many people attending this con, and there's only a certain number of people that can check you in at a time. There's a limited number of computer terminals that they can deal with. It's just going to slow the process down. I'm not saying it might not be needed. It may be needed, right? But if it is needed, it's not going to be good. And here's the other issue with GaryCon. GaryCon's already knocking at their limit. They're limited people at that center.
They've already talked about limiting, because the last year Eric and I went 2019, they were full to the rafters, and Luke told me that we're not going to have this many people again. It was that full.
No. I mean, and that is an issue. It's even more of an issue. We've all talked about Concrud. Yes, I got Concrud back in 2020. I used to joke about Concrud. Like, yeah, you dumb fucks always get I got Concrud, whatever. We all get sick. Well, it turned my 2020 into a wonderful year to be remembered. But here's the thing. COVID is going to be a bit heavier than Concrud. Yeah. I'm not saying that COVID is like this universal death sentence that some people like believe it is,
Right.
but it's worse than the flu, and it's worse than the Concord. And here's the other issue: who goes to conventions? A lot of it. I mean,
Older
we
people,
are we're
people with
considered the
comorbidity
we're the
out
younger.
there.
Yeah, we're the younger group of older people, but the old timers, the founders of this industry, that first generation, those people that were gaming in the first 5 years of the hobby, they're the ones that are at most at risk for this.
Sure.
It's going to be rough.
So
And I personally think if Gen Con got canceled, I would say stick a fork in it. I don't know if it comes back.
Yeah, you mean Gary Con, not Gen Con.
Or any of them.
Oh,
any of them. Gen
well,
Con,
I know
so much money lost.
Total Con is very worried because they had online last year, and from talking to Angelia, they did not get the numbers they wanted. They look, conventions are a visceral experience. They're hands-on experience, and we've learned that over the last year and a half. Yes, there's been some fairly successful online conventions, but it's a passing phase or passing fad.
Well,
people want to get out now. They want to see people. They want to
Yes.
hang out. This is not. I mean, it's just not going to work as a long-term thing to have online conventions. And there's been a lot of conventions that have. Well, like what? Like, well, who's?
What I'm going to say is it's you're going to have better luck with an online convention if it's a convention that's always been online.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
If you, because people already know what the experience is, and when you go to GaryCon online, when you go to Gamehole online, TotalCon online, you're hoping to get the experience of your in-person con, and you're not going to get that.
No.
Now, if you were somebody who had a couple $1,000s to invest into an online convention, could you make your investment back in those first 2 years of running that convention? Oh, I'm damn well sure you could, because people will be going to it with the idea that this is an ethereal, not a meat space, but a virtual space convention. I think that will see some success, but these hybrids are not going to see success, and substitutes are not going to see success.
No.
They don't. It's different crowds.
How excited you were at North Texas? How excited was that crowd of 450, almost 500 people to be at a real live convention? It was nuts there.
I was hugging people left and right.
It was nuts because people were so happy to finally get out and be able to do things, not have to wear a mask. I mean, there were some people wore masks. We didn't mandate masks, but if you want to wear a mask, that's up to you. I don't care. Yeah, and then to have to tell everybody, okay, you had this bright moment in the sun for 3 or 4 months, you got to go back in the cave. Man, that's a tough one. Even though it looks like, like I said, this Delta virus variant is it's no mistake. It's much more. You can catch it much easier. Maybe it's not as deadly. I've been looking at the numbers. Yeah, it's not as deadly as initial COVID, but apparently it spreads a lot easier. Apparently, even with our shots, Eric and I, we can catch it, give it to somebody else, and not even know we had it, which it drives me crazy because one of the reasons I got the shot is my wife has immunocompromised. She can't get a shot. And so I got it so I wouldn't bring home the sickness to her. Well, now I can. There was tests this week that showed that Pfizer vaccine, which I had, is only 40% effective against Delta. So great. That doesn't help me with my wife and her issues. So yeah, it's a tough, and there's some people that are going to decide not to go to conventions just because they don't want to get, maybe they figure like, oh, well, I'm 25, I could get it and probably be fine, but I got to go home to my parents or my grandparents and I don't want them to get it.
Right.
I think that's going to affect attendance also with a lot of people. Man, I don't know. That's why I like speculating on this because I don't know the answers to this. I just think it's very interesting to see what's going to happen if we have a whole nother year of basically wiping out conventions and say, okay, we can go online again. Yeah, GaryCon online 3 years in a row, man, that's just going to be a nut. That's an asshole ass. That's terrible. I don't want to say they're done, Eric. It's terrible. It's just going to be awful. I mean,
I personally think that conventions, especially something like Gen Con, and forgive me for saying this, and again, I'm talking out of my ass, but I would suspect a company like that if they had to cancel this close to it, and they had to refund monies to all the vendors and to all the attendees, I would expect a bankruptcy if that was the case.
Well, I tell you what you do is you're going to do what, and I've talked to Alex about this. They're going to, which I think is very smart. Because one of the problems with conventions, and then we talk about con crud, it's because you have these people go to conventions that are sick. They know they're sick, but they don't want to stay home because they paid for everything. And I already got a plane flight, I got a hotel room, I got my ticket. I'm gonna go, and they cough all over the doorknobs, and I get sick from some moron that can't stay home. Well, what Alex gonna do, what you should do is you're going to roll over the money, and that way you tell them you're not losing any money. We don't want you to come to the con if you're sick. You don't have to come. Come next year. And that's what North Texas does. We roll over everything. Anytime we've had people that couldn't come 5 years ago, they'll call us up and say, "Can I come this year free?" Yes, because we have rolled over your ticket indefinitely. And that's what a lot of these cons are going to have to think about doing, because can you imagine if you bought Gary Con tickets 3 years in a row and you're not getting your money back any of those 3 years? You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm off this drive. Yeah, I'm off this ride. I'm not on there now. That they've been kind of pressured into basically rolling it over, which is the best thing. That's the thing to do. You can't refund it. A lot of times that money's already spent, Eric. I know North Texas is that way.
Definitely.
That money is definitely spent. You can't refund those tickets. So the good thing to do is do what Doug did last year, which we were very lucky to have people take us up on it and say, look, here's we do two things. Because we had a lot of people couldn't go. We only had about 80 people at the con, 70 people. We said, if you want to show up, show up. If not, we're going to roll your ticket over. We had a lot of people just donate the money to the con or donate it to Doug, which is wonderful.
Right.
That's just amazing people did that. Or we told them we would roll it over, knowing we would take a hit this year, because those people pay, we're not going to get that money again. Now, it just so happened it worked out great because we had over 50% of the people just donated the money to us, which was amazing. So that helped us go this year with all the people that just rolled their tickets over. The fact that many people donated the money, that was very essential. So yeah, I think that's a good way for a con to go, is to say, look, here's your choice. You can roll it over to a future year, or you can donate the money to the con. And a lot of people, they want to keep these cons going. That they will donate that money. They will say, yes, here, keep the $50, $60, whatever, because I want this con to keep going, and I want to be able to go to it someday.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I know I would, but at the same time, I mean, I don't even know if going forward, if I'm going to be looking at things like Game Hall and saying, "Ooh, geez, maybe that's too big." Maybe something like VengerCon, where you may be looking at 100 people. It's going to be like, well, maybe that's North Texas capping at 500. These are numbers that you keep yourself like, well, it isn't like I'm with thousands of people.
It's exponential, right? I mean, yeah, the more and more people you get. I mentioned on Facebook last week that I think I'm done with big cons. I mean, I was pretty sure I was, but this year with all the stuff going on with Gen Con, I just like, no. Not. I feel bad I never went to Origins, but I don't think I'm ever going to go. No, I think I'm like you, Eric. I think my sweet spot's going to be about 5,000 people at the most, and I think I'm going to be hitting the smaller cons, which I have a lot more. Honestly, I think I have a lot more fun with those cons anyway. But yeah, just the risk, and not just because people are still catching. Like you said, they still catch con crud. So it's not just the fact that you're scared of COVID; it's the fact that people come to these cons. At least in the past, their hygiene habits were terrible, and you would get all kinds of stuff. We had Dennis Astaire caught pink eye at a con, which is gross because somebody
that takes effort.
Yeah, somebody didn't wipe their butt and put their hand on a doorknob or something, and Dennis touched it and touched his eye. So yeah, it's gross. But yeah, so people they're dirty, filthy creatures, so not just COVID, but just the fact that you're going to get sick, and that our generation of people are getting older and older, and we're more susceptible to this stuff. Right. I wouldn't worry about it as much if I was 25, but being 58, I worry about it now.
Well, you know what? I was surprised by my son, who he's 28 and works for Delta. So he works and he deals with people, and he's out there, and he told me last week, he's like, I got my shot. I go, what shot? He goes, the vaccine. I go, all right, great. I'm being an ass. Like, yeah, what vaccine? Oh, the goddamn COVID vaccine. I got my shot. I'm like, really? What made you change your mind? Because I figured it was time. All right, he'd been exposed twice to coworkers that had COVID and was made to self-isolate for 10 days, spinning his wheels.
Jeez,
I guess he figured he got to the point where it's like, all right, maybe I should just get the vaccine. It's a personal decision for everybody. I have the vaccine. My whole family unit, my parents, Rach, we all did. The risk factors for us of not getting vaccinated exceeded what the potential risk factors were for the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that is what you have to weigh out. If you are somebody who, is so extremely healthy that if you got COVID, you probably, even on your worst day, wouldn't get more than sniffles. Maybe getting a shot that could potentially give you a heart palpitation or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should pass. Again, it's something you have to discuss with your doctor. Neither of us are medical professionals.
No, definitely.
And even if we were, we wouldn't give you advice anyway. But in any case,
that we don't know.
Right.
No, I mean maybe we're medical professionals in hiding. No. Anyway, I'm just, this is a fascinating topic for me. I'm really, it's like you're watching a slow motion train wreck and you're hoping everybody lives in the train wreck, but you can't stop watching the train wreck. That's kind of how I am right now when I watch the news and see the numbers now and the people getting sick. And I'm encouraged by some things. I'm encouraged by the fact that the death rate is nowhere near what it was. Now, unfortunately, the infection rate is as higher than last year. I'm encouraged by the fact that people who have had the shots seem to be not getting as sick, which is great. They're not dying. Let's put it that way. They're maybe getting sick. I have a couple of friends that were what do you call it? What they call those cases? Breakthrough cases. I had two breakthrough case friends, and both of them were not as sick as you would think by COVID. That they were sick, yes, but it wasn't. They were in the hospital with a breathing machine. Thank God. So I'm encouraged by a lot of stuff, but yeah, it just seems like it seems like, we were past it, man. We won. Or we thought we won. And, we had North Texas and we're sitting there thinking, this is so cool. Maybe I'll go to ReaperCon this year and we're going to go to Game Home. We're going to do this. And now here we are. We're like, fuck.
Game Home is too far out for me to even predict. ShireCon is...
ShireCon's in a month. Yeah, we're
ShireCon's in a month. Same weekend as Gen Con.
Now
that's smaller. It's about 100 people.
Yeah, Tom's doing ShireCon. There's no question about that. And you're right. It's only 100 people. That is not a big super spreader event. So
no, and I'll be at a bed and breakfast for Friday and Saturday nights.
You lucky devil.
So yeah, listen, even if ShireCon wasn't going to happen, I think Rich and I would still go away and
why not
spend the weekend.
Have a good time. Yeah, definitely have a good time. I will make it to ShireCon eventually. It just has honestly mostly COVID, because I know last year in 2020 my wife and I were going to go to Lloyd Metcalf's AppleCon. We were all excited about that, and that just got totally messed up, and now the inn where they had it's gone out of business, and poor Lloyd's trying to set something else up, so that just sucks. But yeah, we'd love to go up into that area and hang out for a while and see all my buddies on the East Coast. And so definitely we will try to hit ShireCon one of these years. By the way, they are sponsored by both Frog Out Games and Frog Out giveaways and North Texas giveaways there. So if you happen to be going, then you should enter the raffle, because there's going to be some good raffle stuff.
Always is. The prizes given away at ShireCon greatly exceeds prizes given away at most conventions I've gone to, at least for the size.
Oh yeah, I sent them a box it was a big box. It had a lot of goodies in it, so they should have some good stuff, definitely. Well, yeah, cool. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with Gen Con's in 2 weeks, longer.
Gen Con's in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
4 weeks. So 4 weeks. Same weekend as ShireCon.
Right. So we'll be interesting to see exactly what else happens in the next 4 weeks. I'm interested to see how they handle this, because I think this is going to go on hell or high water, and I don't know what kind of changes they're going to have to make before then, what kind of sacrifices they're going to have to make. But it'll be interesting to see, because they're going to be a huge bellwether for what goes on in the industry.
And that's the thing. If you have this large event and there's no spike in cases, then it's like, oh, all right, everything else is good. If 2 weeks after you have a super spreader event, then the panic buttons start getting hit, and it's going to be bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric, you probably saw the crowds they had for that Lollapalooza, which was ludicrous. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
But I think I read an article recently where they've only traced like maybe 50 cases to that. So that wasn't even a super spreader event. You got sick because you had a lot of idiots in close proximity without masks or even with masks. But that wasn't too bad for as many people that were shoved in, that area.
Right.
So I think they may be okay in that regard to Gen Con, especially if they're wearing masks and they're trying to get mostly vaccinated people there. I think that they'll probably be okay. But, you like you said, you never know. You don't know what might happen there. There could be somebody out there just shedding COVID virus germs everywhere, just spreading it wherever they go, and God knows what happens then. So,
Super Delta. I've got the Super Delta.
I mean, you never know.
You might have the equivalent.
I think somebody said there. Who is it? Our commentators here are being very realistic, and I agree with most of them. I think this is just going to be part of our lives going forward. We panicked about it last year because we didn't know what to do. There was a lot of mistakes made. This year, I think we're a little more rational. I think as years to come, we're going to get a lot more rational, a lot more pragmatic. We're just going to say, look, you may get sick, and so get the booster shot. That's all you can do. I mean, every year that's the same thing with flu. You get their shots, it only protects you against what? Courtney, you probably know this, but I think it's only 25-30% of the viruses out there. I mean, I've had the flu shot and got sick.
Depends on the year, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna have this. We'll probably have the same deal with COVID, and you're just gonna have to get used to it. So at a certain point, we're gonna say, okay, well, this convention is going on. We're gonna go onward. Even.
What it comes down to is you're gonna have to. It's not like you got a vaccine like the chickenpox vaccine or measles or rubella as a kid, where it's like, oh, it means you don't get it. No, because it's not going to hurt you as bad. That's what it's going to come down to. Just like flu vaccine. Right. I still got the flu, but it wasn't horrible. All right, well, might still get COVID, but I had a friend who had got COVID, and he said the worst part about COVID was losing the sense of taste. That's what sucked.
Well, what's weird is the new variant, the COVID variant, is. I went to my doctor. I had a physical last month, and I presented myself for the follow up, and I couldn't come in. The reason was I had allergy symptoms, and the nurse told me. When I ended up having to talk, I talked to him on my phone in the car,
right,
instead of going in there. And we talked. He said, "Well, He said they had 19 cases last month. Every one of them presented as allergies." Runny nose, sneezing, watery eyes, not the traditional COVID symptoms where you lose sense of taste, lose smell. He said they all presented as a allergy. And he said of those 19 people, only one was hospitalized. He said it was very mild. That's how it presented, is that they sneezed for a few days, coughed, had their nose running, this and that, and then they got better. And so, because I was like, well, I can't come in. She said, how long have you had these flu symptoms? I said, for like a day. She said, no, you cannot come in. So I was pissed, but I was like, okay, or whatever. She goes, well, just go to your car. We'll call you on the phone and we'll do a video conference. And it worked great. And then I wonder why I'm paying $120 a visit, my insurance, when I'm out in my car. But whatever. I'll do whatever it takes.
No, I know.
But, it's so, yeah, and I was talking, Alex and I were talking about this yesterday, hey, you do have these people sick unless they're really sick. And so they think, oh, I got a cold, but I'm going to go to this convention anyway. Or I've got the sniffles. Man, you've really got to think of somebody but yourself. And think about, what if I'm really sick, and what if I get other people sick?
Right.
And not enough people do that. I mean, there's people, and Eric knows this, to go to cons, they don't think deodorant's necessary something in their... And so...
Madre de mio.
If they don't think deodorant's necessary, those same guys are probably going to think, well, I'm hacking up phlegm, but I'm probably fine.
Yeah. It's a hairball of gop, but it's because I'm a smoker. I always cough up.
I can't
airballs
smell
as well.
myself, so I must not need deodorant. Like, no.
Oh, wait, it's COVID? Oh, geez, that's why I can't smell myself. Damn it.
Yeah,
God.
there's always. I will say that that hygiene has gotten much better in the past. In my life, I started going to conventions in about 1980, 81. I
Right.
will say that hygiene has gotten much better. It used to be really bad. It was terrible. You would, by game 3, the gamer funk would hang over the con like World War One, the mustard gas. I mean, it was, you'd walk in the main room and be like, oh, my eyes are stinging.
Oh yeah, your eyes are teal.
Wow. And I don't notice that as much now. I notice like individuals might smell bad, but it doesn't, the whole room doesn't just reek.
Right.
So if people can get better at that, maybe they can get better at almost anything else. You hope.
We all hope, but we can't make any promises, Michael. No promises.
I'm interested. So I'm interested to see what happens going forward. I was just interested in your opinion. We hadn't talked about that before. Yeah. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think we might be okay, but we'll see. You know, I guess we'll just see and see what happens, because I want cons to continue, man. That's something I want to do in my retirement or my old age. I want to go to cons and hang out and have people go, there's the guy, the talking crit dude. You know,
I know him. Well, see, like, you know, you're being cautiously optimistic, and when I was in high school, my saying was, "The optimist dies 1,000 deaths. The pessimist, but one."
I'm usually pessimistic too, which is odd. I'm usually extremely pessimistic. You can ask my wife, but in this case, I think people are going to find a way to make it work. I really do. I just, like I said, Gen Con's going to find a way to make it work because they just have to. I think
they got no choice.
Yeah, I think other places will find a way to make it work also. Look, North Texas will always find a way to make it work. We're going to find a way to make it work no matter what. We're in Texas. Yes. In Texas, we're not as over the top as some places, let's just say.
There you go.
While still being careful, but just not over. Just not San Francisco. Let's put it that way. I heard that San Francisco passed a few hilarious laws today. So,
well, if they could only clean up their streets, I think they could pass whatever laws they want.
They passed everything. To get in anywhere, you have to have a vaccine card. Pretty much anywhere, grocery store, restaurant.
Okay, so it just means that everybody will be on the streets, which is already where they are anyway.
But they already are. Yeah, they're already living the streets as it is.
It's not going to change all that much. No. It's okay. It's San Francisco.
Wait a second. I have to show my card to get into this homeless encampment? I'm sorry,
wait a
sir.
second.
This is San Francisco.
Wait a second. We are talking San Francisco, where every other video I see of San Francisco is somebody riding their bike in a Dwayne Reed, ripping stuff off a shelf, and then riding their bike out of Dwayne Reed. So
because you can't stop people from stealing,
but you can stop them at the door for not having a vaccine card. So that's great. You're gonna actually cut down on like shoplifting by that. That's
everybody
ingenious.
I know my mom and dad used to love San Francisco. I've known so many people that just love that city. I feel really bad. I have a really good friend right now. She is moving from San Francisco to Ohio. That's how far away she wants to get from San Francisco, and she's lived her whole life in San Francisco. She said she's finished. She's through with it. She's moving to Columbus, Ohio. She's moving to Columbus, Ohio. That's how far away she wants to get. She almost moved to Texas.
She's like, I wanted to go to Anchorage, but it was just too expensive. I couldn't pull it off.
She said
oh my God.
Even she can't handle it anymore. She goes, I can't handle this anymore. It's just gotten over the top. So she's going to a city where there's not human waste in the sidewalk in front of her house every day.
What's a few needles amongst friends?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I just have, I'm listen, New York City has a lot of faults. It doesn't have those faults. So I will say we do have our own, but San Francisco, certain things, you make us look really good. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
I feel bad because San Francisco's kind of low hanging fruit. We're usually better than that.
Yes, we usually are.
That's extremely low hanging fruit.
But man, they hang low these days. They hang low. Well, I think we're almost hitting 2 hours.
Yeah, we bullshitted for 2 hours. That was awesome. We bullshitted about things. Next week, Talking Crit, we will have Alyssa Fadden. She has guaranteed her appearance next week, and she called me a little sausage to boot, so she's sweet.
And I have an appointment then to set up for the following Wednesday, and then we'll start rolling the rest of these Wednesdays into the Wednesday rotation.
We should. Yep.
What? You can say something?
I'm about to say we
smart.
might
Go
try
ahead.
before ShireCon. We might try to have Tom on the show. I don't.
Oh,
I
that'd
mean,
be fun.
if we can fit him in. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I don't know. With his ego, I don't know if we can fit him in. He might have to get a bigger screen. No, Tom has no ego. That's why I'm actually. He is such a sweetheart.
He puts the. I mean, he's one of those people. Does exactly what he says he's going to do. He's the real deal. So that's great. And then what do you got going next week? You have Joe the Lawyer next Friday.
Next Friday is Joe the Lawyer. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Gamers Health. Myself and Rach. Rach is officially no longer employed as a social worker.
Yeah.
So she's going to be focusing on yoga, and we are going to, before the year is out, get a couple of yoga classes or meditation classes up on this channel as we get her own channel set up. But again, we do this stuff for gamers. Everybody is a co-host for me, does it for the love of the community. So we're going to get the stuff out there. I know a lot of Joe used to do yoga, believe it or not. So you'll be surprised at the people that do yoga. I don't. And apparently I'm going to have to, because my wife's going to be off and not working and yogaing. And I'm sure I will be yogaing.
Nice.
So maybe I'll become even healthier. We'll see.
Video of you yoga. I want to see it. I want to see video. No, I don't. Actually, I don't
you know what? I'm gonna have my I'll put on tidy whities just for you.
Oh no, I don't want to see this. No, I don't want to see it at all.
All right. Well, in any case, that's 8 p.m. tomorrow night, which is Saturday night Eastern. Rich and I will be on. We look forward to interacting with you all. And then Monday will probably be an episode that will be up early, not live. But Monday I'll be doing Joe the Lawyer's new OSR campaign set in the
That should be interesting. Where's that gonna be online at? Where can we see that?
I don't think we're putting it. Listen,
I thought you would.
No.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't put that up. You're right. That's good.
Yeah. Joe the Lawyer, Tim. I'm gonna miss at least one name in this list. Joe the Lawyer, Tim Shorts, Rob Conley, Matt Jackson. Oh fuck! Who else?
This is already a murderer's row of.
I had to turn off my text messages because my texts were going crazy today. I was chatting back and forth. I'm like, take it to the fucking Discord server, and they did, so I don't feel this. But it's going to be a very interesting, fun time. And I've known Joe for years. I've run games for Joe or played in games with Joe. But I think I've only played in one of his sessions once or twice. He ran G1. With a bunch of us as a one-shot, and that was a fucking blast and a half. When you put up another video of the adventure you are building for ShireCon, possibly this coming week, there's just been so much other, I don't want to say crap, but so much other stuff going on that has taken my time away from getting those videos up. But Mark, I will get something up. Ty could have gone.
Ty's on fire tonight. He is on fire.
No. Ty, you need that image. Maybe I will send you a selfie later.
Beautiful.
You'll
be doing the Lord's work. That's great, Eric. Do it.
Yes. Well on. The text storm was insane. I actually had to turn my watch off for notifications because I was trying to take a post-pub nap, and all I hear was bing, 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 bing. It's like, all right, I'm not Ricochet Rabbit. Fuck this shit. I gotta turn this off. All right, folks, we're not going to do the COVID speech because we already did the COVID speech.
We did the COVID speech. But thanks everyone, and thanks Glenn for letting me fill in, and hopefully you get moved okay. Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.
We want to see the new broadcast studio. It was keeping my wife up at night. Just vibe. I can't. I'm not going to. It was vibrating on a nightstand to keeping your wife up. I don't want to know. Don't want to know. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. I'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. I will catch you later.
Later, guys.
Later. Thank you.
Next Wednesday, talking crate next